It is with great pleasure for me to introduce our first speaker today, who will be speaking about what is artificial intelligence and machine learning to you. So this session will be led by Mr. Shamsul Izhan Abdul Majid. He is the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer, Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission MCMC. Mr. Shamsul, also referred as Sam, is recognized for his track record in digital transformation for business growth. Sam is a business technology leader with vast international experience in driving innovative growth across a diverse range of landscape, including transportation, utilities, logistics, telecommunications, and governments. At the MCMC, Sam is responsible as the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer, CTIO, over the Commission's technology, innovation vision and strategies execution for growth, whilst focusing on improving technological advancement. So I'm looking forward to this discussion. Without further ado, Mr. Shamsul, the session is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning. Thank you to MFCP for having me as a speaker today, and I'll try to bring to you a bit of insights into artificial intelligence and what's in for you. So a bit of MCMC. I'm sure that maybe some of you know of the name MCMC, but here's a slide that basically tells you that MCMC is an agency under the government that takes care of three main acts. The first one is Communication and Multimedia Act, second one is Postal Services Act, and the third one is Digital Signature Act. Basically, it covers telecoms, it covers logistics, last mile, postal, and also the fact that you can actually use digital signature for your day-to-day life instead of ink signature. And overall, the whole idea here is that to make sure user confidence is always there when citizens or people like yourself start to use any of the services in Malaysia. What is AI, artificial intelligence? You may see in many forms. The one that is probably in your phone is the Hey Siri, where it's about language. It covers things like understanding what you say to your phone. But there are also other things that you may see on CCTV, like computer vision. It recognizes whether your temperature is too high as part of our COVID check. And also things like in your Microsoft 365, in terms of when you type, it will tell you that you may have done some spelling mistakes, or maybe auto-suggest a few things for you. There's also this subset area called deep learning, where it uses a lot more data and try to give you more insights in the realm of quantum compute. We have seen many more robots that now use AI. As a matter of fact, even cars, Tesla, for example, has AI inside for it to actually understand how to perform self-driving and not hit anybody on the road. But last but not least, the most popular one these days is called generative AI, in the word of chatbot or ChatGPT, but where it actually creates more content for you. If you're lazy and you don't want to do a YouTube video, you go to ChatGPT and it will make one for you, for example. So we can see that all these areas makes a lot of opportunities. Automated speech recognition, for example, where it can try to recognize what you say and therefore perform some action for you. It will try to read your emails or maybe enhance how websites respond to you in the form of chatbots, and also analyze public sentiment. Basically, the data of the internet basically becomes its fuel to give you better service or better experience on your website. Predictive analytics, where as an organization or an individual, you want to understand what can happen tomorrow, not just what has happened today or maybe what happened yesterday. So AI has this capability to kind of see what's next. So people use it for predictive analysis. Image and video recognition, you may have heard things like number plate recognition when you drive your car into a shopping mall and it tells you what your number plate is. So that's one of them where it tries to recognize and it learns as well. Because as you know, our number plate in Malaysia, there are many fonts and many types. But it tries to also understand that certain things means that it's very clear for them to come back to you. Robotic process automation, RPA, that's something that's happening in many organizations where it uses AI to actually automate low value or sometimes repetitive robotic tasks. So I always say that humans shouldn't be doing robotic work. humans should do robot work and allow the robot, in this case robotic process automation, to do all the repetitive tasks on your behalf. Within MCMC, we've done a bit of survey within ourselves. We are an organization of 14 offices, 1,000 staff, and we asked our staffs, what do you expect if AI is here? And they say that number one, 88% of them say that they expect positive impact, innovation, transformation. They also expect things of better use cases that we have not seen in the past. And also they also expect that AI will be everywhere in the tools that they use on a day-to-day basis. So I'm very sure maybe your organization have people echoing the same expectation that if AI is here, what's in for me? Although it's all available, but we need to understand certain do's and don'ts. And obviously, it takes a bit of knowledge, a bit of reading up, but some are quite common sense as well. Number one is that if you are in the game of putting together AI for your organization, make sure that you emphasize or you practice transparency and accountability. Make sure that it is about everybody rather than just selective people. Make sure that you understand that it has biases, and you want to make sure there's fairness happening across when you apply AI. Also, AI can't run away from cybersecurity, so make sure that things of weaknesses in cybersecurity, as simple as firewall or maybe as more complex as data governance, data classification is done. Make sure that you know that there are prevailing laws out there, and some are coming up, some are being drafted that tries to help you in your implementation of AI. And there's always the ethical purpose or part of it where it should be applied for good and it should be benefiting everybody else. So there's do's and don'ts. I suppose on the don't side is don't see AI as a black box, meaning that you see it as simply, I don't understand, therefore it's a black box. Please try to understand that AI has many components. There's the algorithm component, there's the data component, and there's the hardware component. The more difficult one is the algorithm, which we have heard things like LLM, large language model, where you can tweak 200,000 parameters, for example. Again, we did another survey in MCMC, and our staff believe that we really need a high-level game plan or strategy when it comes to apply AI. We need to understand how would the industry and regulatory and licensees actually use AI, and we must anticipate sufficient impact or sufficient returns in the use of AI. So the other expectation that people expect when AI is being used is, number one, clear guidelines. Do we have clear guidelines in our own organization? Number two, ethical. It does not remove or purposely take some people out. And also fairness and discrimination. Obviously, we have seen online, on the internet, things like abuse, AI abuse, and where we really should have more people in the conversation to understand the do's and don'ts of AI. In terms of implication, we see AI has three main parts of implication. Number one, what's the implication to you as the organization? What's the implication to you as an individual or staff of the organization? And also, what's the implication to you as vendors or people who serve other organization? So legal component, ethical component. Sometimes from an organizational point of view, if you don't adopt AI, you might be left behind. So do you have a business plan or even a corporate blueprint that ensures that AI is part of it, but it's there to actually grow the business and also grow the people? Missed opportunity behind that. If there's no more COVID, for example, why are you using it? Therefore, are you being discriminated? When people input or include AI in day-to-day, do they have adequate training in understanding algorithms, data, and technology, and also cybersecurity? Privacy concern is about how is my data being used? Have I given consent, or have you obtained consent from me? Also, as a vendor, you've got to understand that more and more of your clients are now expecting that you as a vendor understands AI and understands that you have products that may have AI built in, and you should know what the AI is doing. Ethical violations, for example, and also compliance challenges, these are things that public sector and private sector like you guys can work closely on understanding what else that we have not done in terms of compliance and ethics. learning from what we have seen all over the world. I think that this happened in the last few years, all these incidences that I will share with you, things in South Korea, for example, the AI chatbot was pulled out from particular Facebook because it was actually spitting out hate speeches. In the UK, there was this ChatGPT that basically tries to do the work of the lawyer that basically had a ChatGPT account. Workday was sued for using AI indiscriminately because they use it for hiring purposes. And also Amazon basically shut down one of its AI tools because it was being a bit too sexist. So we have seen here that individuals or citizens, when they see that AI has, or maybe the tool has some discrepancies, then they will raise up that is this an AI behind it, or is this a human behind it. So therefore there is this urgent need for more policies and procedures, whether within public sector or within private sector, but it will be introduced, or it should be introduced and implemented by leaders such as all of you here in this virtual meeting. Overall, and on a global stage, we know, and here is an example of it, UNESCO has 10 principles, and these 10 principles talk about do no harm, make sure that you have the right to privacy, transparent and accountability, sustainability and human right oversight. Within Malaysia, we have National AI Action Plan, which I'm part of, where we have this blockchain and AI committee that has various work plan talking about fairness, upskilling, legal and ethics, research and development, and also communications. Within MCMC itself, we are building up our own so that we can actually help our industries as part of those Communication and Multimedia Act, Postal Act and Digital Signature Act to make sure that AI is being used ethically and also fair to everybody. But you can also dig up by yourself. You can go to Google and go to ISO, which is a forum or body available for standards, and you will see that there's a lot of standards being published or being developed today. IEEE, for example, is building up standards, and also ETSI in Europe is also building up standards. But the key point here is everybody's building up standards in AI to make sure that, number one, we all have shared values. Number two, wide participation. Number three, clarity and transparency. And number four, very clear roles and responsibilities. So how do you navigate all this? So if I can go to my second part of my presentation, which is about you, the leaders that actually spend time to understand what is AI, and therefore if you know what AI is, therefore you are in the prime seat of driving the vision of the organization. And as part of the vision, you know that you and others must embrace a learning culture, learning what AI can do, what AI shouldn't do. You are very much focused on customers, making sure that you use tools like AI and other tools to have that positive customer experience. Sometimes within the organization, it could be just you talking about AI. So therefore you can become a thought leader, making sure that access to information, understanding are all there. But you can't do it alone. I have to say that for you to embrace AI and for you to make sure AI has something for your organization, you've got to be a leader yourself. You've got to cast a vision on how people or the rest of people in your organization understand the end goal of using AI. You got to also appreciate around you, you have access to people who can be AI champions. And AI champions are people who can empower others in the same journey of AI adoption. Being a leader yourself and you want to have a change, you can create that workplace of change where AI is being used and you have this try and fail mindset, and also bring the technical component to a non-technical conversation. But last but not least is to establish routines and ensure that people can come with you for the journey. As people say, if you want to run fast, you run alone. But if you want to run far, you bring others with you. So AI is another vehicle that you can bring others with you to bring them on to the next journey of what AI and technology like AI can do for your organization. As part of this, AI gives the opportunity for you to become a leader in the adoption of change. Walk a mile in their shoe, meaning that there's a lot of people who fear, will AI remove my job? So put yourself in that situation and understand that what AI can and shouldn't do within your organization. Have clear objectives, that there are many versions of many types of AI that I highlighted in my earlier slide, and have a clear view on what is it all about. If I use a CCTV for temperature control or temperature of people, then it is just for that purpose, or maybe I have a plan that it can be used for something else. Also, everybody that sees AI being used in respective organization, they will ask, what's in for me? Will I get a change to the way that I do my work? So have a clear plan or a clear direction on AI. There is something of AI that you can benefit from. Obviously, people will say, do I get a bonus if I use AI? Do I become better? But more importantly, I would say the bottom line, AI brings productivity higher than what you can achieve today. But it needs leadership in terms of execution. Clearly outline what's there to expect, and last but not least is self-help. There's so many reading materials, and personally I use YouTube a lot for learning what AI can do, and I've given you just now in my previous slide standards and references that other parts of the world, UNESCO, ISO, UN, ITU, they all are developing new standards and new guidelines for what AI can do for all of us. And here is a slide that basically highlights maturity of an organization, or perhaps where you are. And on the left, it talks about maturity or lack of maturity in AI and data, where perhaps today in your organization, you do not have many AI implementation and you have limited access to data. That's on the left. And on the right, you can see organizations like Amazon, Microsoft, who are very much AI and insights and data driven. So all of us are scattered along this x-axis of this slide, but we all aspire that we have an understanding of better data governance, more AI projects, policies and procedures are data driven, and therefore you can then use AI as part of your day-to-day to bring your organization to a level of maturity from where you are today. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, we all do this because it is also part of economy. It is also part of revenue, it is also part of earning. And here's a slide that basically shows, and this is a public slide where people all talk about digital economy. And AI is part of it. And I have to say that the digital economy means that you have an opportunity to earn rather than just to buy or just to spend. So today, Malaysia in the economic pie is about 22% of it is in the digital part, meaning organizations in Malaysia are earning or selling tools in AI or even in data and technology. But that's not good enough, because we can see USA, for example, is 60% of their economy. China is 30%. They're all much ahead of Malaysia. So therefore, aspiration as a country that includes you as well. In 2025, we expect that Malaysia should hit 25% of our economy all coming from the digital component, including AI, and which means that individually we can earn more, higher sales, higher revenue, and more impact to the economy, and also take-home pay should be higher once we get there. So AI is a vehicle that not only can be used for day-to-day, but it's also to bring companies and countries to the next level of economy. So ladies and gentlemen, this is my last slide, and it's a pleasure being invited here as a speaker. Key takeaways of my slide, which I believe you guys can get access after this. Number one, AI is there, but please make some effort to understand its impact and use. There are a lot of references out there that you can take down, or you can use my slide on the standards that are available. Number two, it doesn't happen on its own. You have this opportunity to become a digital leader yourself, adopting AI to overcome barriers when AI is being adopted. If you see AI being adopted without a leader in place, you may be able to step up and be that leader to make sure that AI is being governed or being used effectively in your organization. And number three, it all has positive returns. Number one, greater income, greater sales, greater positioning of yourself within the global economy, and positive returns in terms of salaries and revenue to our country. So thank you very much to MFCP for this invitation, and I wish you well for the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shamsul, but we would like for you to stay on for a while because we still have a few questions from the participants for you, and one of them actually asked for your slides. So that's a good sign.
Yep.
So okay, let's get started. Since we have a bit more time to spare, we will get started. There are a couple of questions. Mr. Shamsul, someone asked, can you provide insights into how AI and ML are currently being utilized within MCMC or the broader telecommunications and media industry in Malaysia?
Yeah, thank you. Maybe I start with something that you can have access to, meaning you as the listeners. One of the radio stations, I think is Hot FM or Fly FM, basically has now a DJ. There is an AI-powered DJ. They informed MCMC a few months ago that they're going to have this DJ to be on air and basically run the whole slot for music and conversation on, I believe it's Hot FM. But you can check. So that's one example of it where we can see tasks that maybe AI is better at are being used. In China, I've seen AI being used for TV broadcasts, but in terms of sign language. So as you know, we have sign language experts, people that can wave their hands for those that have difficulty in hearing or listening. But in China, they have this AI avatar. It's AI based, runs 24 hours a day, and basically it performs sign languages for the audience to hear out what the news is all about. And this runs 24 hours dedicated per channel. So I find that's fascinating, what's happening out there. Within MCMC, we use AI in one part where it's called robotic process automation, where it is about understanding the coverage of 4G and 5G, and this processing of coverage without AI and robotic process, it takes about 3 weeks of 24 hours computer processing. But with AI, it came down from 2 months to about 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, MCMC has visibility into areas that do not have 4G or 5G, and that is based on location of infrastructure, towers and antennas, and the spectrum that is being broadcasted, and the areas that those spectrum or those radio wave do not reach. So this requires a 24 hours nationwide processing which MCMC performs every month. So without AI, it takes a lot longer. We also see there's another component of AI, and that's coming through the Microsoft 365 tools that each MCMC staff uses. Even in the use of Zoom meetings and Teams meetings, you'll see AI now is prompting up that it can do things for you. So Microsoft 365, we use it in terms of Copilot, where it helps MCMC staff to perform day-to-day tasks. I've seen in some organization that AI is being used to take minutes of meetings. At the end of a meeting, the Zoom minute taker is AI based, and it basically summarizes the minutes without a secretariat being in place. So those are some of the examples that I know of that I can share with you.
All right. Next question. Second question, we have someone asked, as CTIO at MCMC, what do you see as the most promising applications of AI and machine learning in improving the telecommunications and multimedia sectors, and what potential challenges do you foresee in their implementations?
So some of the challenges I've highlighted in my slide, where without leadership and understanding of ethics, then AI can always be, there's room to be abused, or room for it to be unethical and perhaps used to segregate or maybe negatively impact on some people. So I've covered that in my slide. but more importantly, what can happen in the future where MCMC or our telco industry is taking charge. Where this is where I can see 5G, for example. 5G is built on cloud, it's built on AI, and it's built on spectrum and waves that before it was not available in 4G or before. So due to that, there's a lot of AI behind the scenes when you use a 5G phone. In particular, when industries adopt robots, instead of foreign workers, they have tons of robots that perform 24 hours a day. And when those robots, just imagine 1,000 robot cleaners that cleans the floor running around in the factory. So when that happens, AI actually performs a lot of the frequency check, a lot of the data packets checking, a lot of the cyber security checking, so to make sure that only floor cleaning robots can be used, for example. So AI is now part and parcel of cloud computing, part and parcel of 5G, and as we move to the next G onwards, which is every 10 years, we'll see a 6G and 7G coming up, and we'll see AI as nothing but normal, and it wouldn't be a topic of conversation anymore. But today, because it's new, we all still are wanting to know how does it work, how does it look like, and will it impact me or benefit me?
Alright, thank you so much, Mr. Shamsul, for the great answer. Shall we proceed to the next question? Yes, alright. So, we have more questions for you actually. How do you envision the future impact of artificial intelligence and machine learning on the telecommunications and media landscape, and what role do you see MCMC playing in shaping this future?
So, communication and multimedia, so it's important that MCMC and the government puts effort to establish acts that are relevant for 2023 onwards. That's one part that MCMC is working on together with the ministry and others in Parliament and Cabinet. That's the first part. The second part is, what else can AI do? Well, I think you have seen in terms of ChatGPT, it's available everywhere. If you're lazy and you don't want to do a YouTube video of your company, you can just ask ChatGPT to do it for you. It will generate a 40-50 second video with subtitles, with montage and background music, all within about 30 to 40 seconds. So it's a tool that can be used by good or bad. So in MCMC, we see the bad side as well, scams, people using AI to try to get money from other people. And this is where a greater understanding and rules and procedures need to be in place, so that people know that certain tools can be easily abused. And so as social media becomes more pervasive and also complicated in terms of social media self-censorship, social media filtering, we see that grey line, the line is becoming more and more grey in terms of people understanding that certain tools are used for good and bad, and they don't even know certain tools have AI behind them. But more likely than not, any tool that is available on the internet today, whether it's free or you paid for, will have some portion of AI behind it, and it will become more and more mature or more and more sophisticated. But the whole point here is to save people time and effort to do tasks. So maybe some of you are aware software products like Photoshop, for example. In the past, 10 years ago, you got to buy Photoshop, comes in CDs and floppy disks, and you have to install and it runs only on your computer. But these days, Photoshop or Canva or many other similar things are, you don't need to buy CDs, you just subscribe to the one on the internet. But it can do many editing on its own. It can cut and crop and filter photos on its own. The whole point here is to save you time.
I see. Okay, perhaps we have time for one more question, Mr. Shamsul. Is MCMC now using AI to counteract against online scammers?
Yeah, so good question, because I highlighted that just now earlier. So the answer is yes and no. Yes, we use in some areas at the back end for us to kind of use AI to digest the vast amount of data that MCMC receives when it comes to scam or when it comes to telecom information. So we use AI to help crunch those numbers in the data science space. know in a sense that MCMC itself needs to be very well aware of what AI can or cannot do when it comes to public facing. So putting AI in the front end of, let's say, a WhatsApp group or even a website, and not aware that the AI can have biases. So as the example that I highlighted in Korea, in UK, where sometimes the owner of the AI tool itself did not know that the speech or the text that the AI can revert has some built-in racial slur or biasness. So on that part, we haven't done so because we still need a bit more time to appreciate the model, the data, and the technology behind AI.
Alright, that is all the time we have for the first session of the day, and thank you very much